I really didn't know how she would respond to new everything.
How would he be supervised? How he would be supported?
I was afraid that she was so used to living where she was that this would be such a big change for her and that it might be hard for her to adjust.
ICFMRs are institutions for people with developmental disabilities, and they were originally built to provide treatment services for people with developmental disabilities and meet their health care needs. This initiative began in January of 2005, and it was an initiative basically to allow the money that is provided to serve people in ICFMRs to follow them into the community if that's where they want to live. So the financial component basically takes the $100 million that we're spending on institutional care right now and allows the department and the counties to use that money either to serve people in the institutions or serve them in the community. It also allows us to use the money to help facilities close and help facilities downsize if that's what they want to do.
Innovative Services was formed out of the closure. We operated ICFMRs at Van Buren Hall, Cottonwood Center, both 50-bed ICFMRs, and also Jefferson Manor, which at the time I believe was a 31-bed ICF. We took the initiative as an organization to transform ourselves from an institutional-based provider to a community-based provider.
She lived at Jefferson Manor for, I would say, 10 years, and I was very happy with where she was because it was a residence, so she couldn't just wander around whenever she wanted to. They were closing Jefferson Manor and that they were looking for another place for her, and I was very apprehensive at the time. I was afraid that she was so used to living where she was that this would be such a big change for her and that it might be hard for her to adjust. She was very happy from the very beginning because she said she was going to have her own room and her own apartment.
I live at Jefferson. Now I have my own apartment. I wasn't scared to move. I like it. My bedroom set, kitchen, the living room, my mailbox.
Now we have to wait for that to boil.
There was a few that came from Jefferson, and I think that made Noreen feel a lot more secure, knowing that this wasn't going to be all strangers taking care of her. Well, I know Noreen isn't a big fan of cleaning, but every once in a while she'll tell me that, gee, I vacuumed today, and they're teaching me how to cook, and I cleaned the kitchen out today.
I go shopping for clothes, groceries, laundry.
I think that the transition was very fast and very effective.
I think the greatest fear that we had under this initiative was from guardians, and they were fearful about the health and safety of their family member or their ward once they moved into the community. They felt that their family member has lived in an institution frequently for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and they were just afraid that the community wouldn't be able to provide the same health and safety needs.
Services are all about relationships, and successful services are based around long-term relationships that consumers have with the people that know them in every facet of their life, and that trusting relationship that we were able to take in an environment where they may have lived for tens of years, and everyone was a little bit apprehensive and afraid. But having that familiarity with that person that was still going to show up at 6 o'clock in the morning was the same person that just came to a different building the past 10 years. I think eased a lot of tension. not only for the people who were moving, but also for the families of those people.
She likes her routine. She doesn't like a change in routine. And she had lived at Cottonwood for like 18 years. And to take her out of that surroundings and to put her into a new place, a new situation, I really wasn't sure it was going to work. She became more and more like she didn't want to leave there. Like that was, she would not come out with us anymore. She would not go out to eat with us. She would not go get her hair cut with me anymore. She would not even come for dinner anymore on a holiday. She just became more and more into herself. Amy had worked at Cottonwood. I was very comfortable that Amy was going to be here because I knew that she knew Wendy and that Wendy got along with Amy.
About 2 weeks before they were going to move in, Wendy was found unresponsive in her room and was diagnosed with diabetes at that time. So that kind of put a twist into everything because she came back to Cottonwood and she was getting insulin like 6-7 times a day, her blood sugar taken 4 times a day, and we really had to prepare ourselves and look at if we were going to be able to, you know, provide her services in the home at that time. Before Wendy moved in, we made a diabetic plan, a diabetic book where all her charting was. It gave exactly if her blood sugars were high, what to do, if her blood sugars were low, what to do and look for. I totally believe it's the diet that has brought her to where she is, how meticulous staff is, the menu planning, the you know, the whole diet situation. Wendy has not gotten insulin in 2 months at least. She's down to 2 blood sugars a day. She's come a long way, and she has a lot more freedom now as far as what she wants to eat and when she wants it, and we just adjust what everyone, you know, at a birthday party they can have cake. She just gets a smaller piece of cake compared to the other ones, but she's still being integrated in the whole, you know, normalization of the community.
I wish that this had been available 18 years ago when we first put her at Cottonwood. She has just done so wonderful living in this kind of situation. I just can't believe what in a year's time what has happened with her, how much she has come out, how much she is doing. What a change in her. She was deathly afraid of water. Her mother had made her deathly afraid of water because she had ear infections and had tubes in her ears when she was little. Even to have her hair washed was a traumatic experience. And now she goes swimming. It's amazing. She goes grocery shopping. She sets the table, she vacuums, she is learning to do laundry. I cannot believe what a change there is in her in 1 year's time. Having Wendy live in a place like this is more like home. This is this is her home. It's not like living with 50 other people. You're only living with a few people. This is her house. This is her home. When you leave, that's the first thing you get in the car. She wants to know, can I come home? I say, yes, you're going to come home.
Andy relocated to the community in January 2005. Prior to that, he was residing at Bayview and had been there since 1998. When I initially met with Andy's parents and we spoke about community placement, they had a great deal of apprehension about that. Concerns about his safety, being in the community, how would he be supervised, how he would be supported, and that created some anxiety for them. I think Andy had some apprehension, but at the same time was pretty excited about moving to the community. However, I'm not sure if he really understood what community living meant.
Then I had to come for an overnight visit. I had a hard time waking up the next day, you know why? Then I wanted to leave you.
And I think over the last year, since he's been in the community, he's really grown and gained an understanding of what it's like to be a part of the community.
Like on every other Friday, I go out for supper. I go out with my family. Forget next Wednesday, then pick me up from school and take me to the advocacy dessert potluck. Cause this is in the community. I'm not all locked up or all crunched up. And do you want to come in my house and take a little tour? That's the entrance. Then this part right here is the seat right here. That's all the rooms. That's my room. That's my room with the curtain stick where I get to pull it. I got my window open right now to get it stretched out. Nice out here. This is my room. This is my bed. My DVD. My TV. My bulletin board on the wall. And my bedroom light that's way up there. And my radio, and my teddy bear, and all my paperwork, all that. That's from camp. That's my buddy I made up at camp.
Since Andy has moved to the community, he has accomplished a great deal. He has achieved many skills, social skills, safety skills. Andy has responsibilities in the home. He has acquired skills in menu planning, in meal preparation, completing laundry, maintaining his room. Andy's goal is to move to an apartment. He has talked about wanting more independence in the future.
I had to get my own apartment. Now that I have my own place, I feel good. And I like it a lot.
And seeing people just be excited for the things that we take for granted in life, like getting your mail, going to the grocery store and buying milk, and being able to do things that really make you feel like you're an actual member of community. And I think that has probably undoubtedly been the best thing to see as successes. I think oftentimes there's the concern where if you haven't seen it before, how will people respond to the change? And I think without exception, people have responded favorably. And to be able to move and experience new friendships in living in their own homes, whether it's an apartment or in a home with other people, I think that we've just seen happier people. So we've seen less behaviors, and we've seen them just really get the opportunity to do more than what they were able to do previously. If a person expresses to anyone else what they really want in life, how do we accomplish that? And within our service model, it's been pretty much a standard box. I mean, you have supportive home care, you have supported apartments, you have adult family homes, you have CBRFs, and then within that you have staff, and you have all these different things that have always been there. How do we start looking outside of that box and different ways to support them? And maybe they're not called adult family homes anymore, and maybe it's not supportive home care. But allow that person to direct their own services and tell us where they want to be. And then collectively and creatively find the way to do that.
One of the biggest challenges in this program is getting people really integrated into the community. We can move people into smaller living arrangements, but that in and of itself doesn't integrate people in the community. What they need to do is they need to work in the community, they need to do things during the day or whenever they want to do things in order to work with people or to interact with people without developmental disabilities. And I think that's something we still need to focus on. We just need to understand that we're not through just by moving people in the community. We actually have to get their lives integrated into the community.
We were all given word that this was going to take place, where the facilities were going to be closing and everybody was going to be moving into the community. There was a lot of excitement, and a lot of weariness. So it was up to us, the staff, to make it a positive transaction for all the residents. Linda and Sue have resided in Cottonwood for a little over 20 years. I personally have known both of them for 12. They had to be with other people and they had to share their rooms, and they didn't always have the choice options that they could have had with a facility of over 50 people. In their home now that they have, they